Hello. Uh, let's go. Okay. Welcome to my castle. Don't expect everyday logic to work here. It went out the window sometime after midnight, maybe earlier. My kingdom is not of this world, you see. It lies far outside of concrete, tangible reality. I've tried to identify the way people reach it, and I am convinced it has something to do with the moon. Some say the moon's aura can turn them insane. Oh god, we are going very fast. You've heard the phrases moonstruck and lunatic. The way I see it, moonlight gives them some subliminal permission to reveal their true selves. And so whenever they let this sliver of radiance guide them to the gates of this place, they feel different. Once they pass the doorstep, they're ready to act out. A dance of horrors and marvel begins. It's 3:31 a.m. Welcome to Big Beat Burger. If you're here at this hour, you're not exactly readying up to be productive member of society. Come tomorrow morning, more likely you're praying that the sunrise never comes. Insatiable children of the night gather around hoping to bask in the afterglow of tonight's victories, unwind after a frustrating series of failures, or simply fight to keep themselves together. I'm trying to... hold on. Let's go slow, because it's like going very fast. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here, greedily reveling in every interaction they have. They have no idea. They are only here for my amusement. To them, I'm just a random girl sitting in the corner. But this is my domain. I've been coming here almost every night for years. I know where to sit, where to look, and where to eavesdrop for maximum amusement. I'm basically a voyeur, and unashamed to admit it. It gave me insight about the human condition I'd never otherwise have gathered, and more importantly, a necessary skill set to make ends meet as a journalist. As I write on my crappy old laptop, patiently waiting for the legion of negative voices in my head to get too tired to offer useless feedback, I keep my senses peeled to pick up stories around me. Of course, a lot of regular events, such as food fights, are nothing to write home about, aside from my unfortunate tendency to become collateral damage in someone else's battles. Up to this day, I've had to wash my clothes because of Coke, Diet Coke, hot coffee, apple pie, and some sort of improvised honey mustard bomb. Every stain tells a different story. Sometimes this hobby is exhausting, sometimes it's disturbing, sometimes it's dangerous, although not as risky as back when I wasn't carrying pepper spray. Still, the sights I've taken in over the years have made it absolutely worth it. I've got so many stories, I don't know where to begin. Theatrical breakups, impromptu morning parties, unexpected friendships forged in the fires of senseless battle. A lady in a gorgeous Givenchy dress ordering a box of takeout chicken nuggets, paying in cash with her hands completely covered in blood. She was asked if she wants a napkin. She said no. Two thirsty macho dudes seamlessly going for it in the corner, hushed moaning filling the lobby while everyone around valiantly fights to act as usual and maintain an illusion of normalcy. A straight-up kung fu fight between a diminutive cashier and some drug bodybuilder going through a psychotic episode trying to break all the windows. The big guy left the joint fully convinced he KO'd himself while the service worker was just standing next to him, seemed proud of his victory too. A middle-aged hag getting a heart attack after screaming her lungs out not to let Muslims near her food just because she saw a white girl wearing a hairnet behind the counter. A masked couple robbing the restaurant of 30 hamburgers, forcing the employees to cook at gunpoint. Police later said those were art students reenacting some hipster book they read. This is life. This is humanity at its worst and best. This is the noise that serves as the foundation for my creativity. This is the soma that keeps me going. This is... As pathetic as it may sound, these days, this is the only place where I feel alive. Sometimes I think of myself as a leech feeding on those people's stories, emotions, and personalities just because I'm not satisfied with mine. At times, I think of my psyche as some kind of shitty postmortem construct that is fundamentally incapable of honesty but only yearns for something felt and truthful. Does this even make any sense? I look at the screen of my laptop, 3:47 a.m. At this point, I'm almost some... What the fuck is that word? sir. Some somnambliac, numbliac, but nothing interesting has happened yet. Can you like
You're not
define
gonna
that?
snap? Wow. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Mist. Our child is 2 years old. No, 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 no. Yes? No. Welcome to me figuring out why they're adding big words and I don't know what the fuck they are. Feels like all the customers are watching each other tonight, hoping for others to provide a fun diversion. This is my turf, you parasitic douchebags. Next time, go find your own. I think it's time to call it a night. The coffee I always order so that they don't kick me out is undrinkable. Ugh. I reread the rough draft I've been working on for the last 6 hours. God damn, this is pure trash. I hold the backspace button until I have video off since I'm at work. Oh, it was some somnambuliac? Something fucking like something like what? what the fuck is this word? What hold on. Somnambuliac. Somnambulic? That's a word. I don't know what the fuck that is. I hold the backspace until the Google Documents page is nothing but a calm white slate and let out a sound of deep relief. There's no pleasure more intoxicating for a frustrated writer than ragging on someone even worse than them. And what target is easier than the dumb bitch you used to be? I check the time again. I need to go. I have an important meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. and I have a hunch it's not going to end well. It's not because I'm an irresponsible dumbass who's going to need a few cups of coffee to simply function on a basic level, despite like 4 hours of sleep. It's because I always have a hunch things are not going the way they're supposed to. I'm not reading that. The loud clatter of keyboards assaults me from all sides, makes a splitting headache unbearable. Used to be, I dreamed of nothing else but being a part of the New York Lodestar editorial team. It was the first magazine I started reading regularly, the first magazine I ever bought for myself. Now simply hearing the word Lodestar is enough to ruin my mood. Never mind seeing all these old farts phoning in more reactionary opinion columns and Wikipedia level analysis of current events. The keyboard noises. They used to destroy and rebuild my entire worldview every month. They shaped my thinking about politics, art, journalism. They even pointed me toward my favorite cigarette brand, for God's sakes. Then some talented people started leaving for greener pastures. Some got too wrapped up in their own neurosis. Some became complacent. All of them committed the sin of allowing themselves to grow older. Fresh blood was deemed unnecessary, even though young freelancers kept being bled dry. These days, whenever someone from outside Lodestar talks about Lodestar, it's because a few idealistic contributors willing to accept meager pay while putting in serious work. Dumbasses. That sounds familiar. Other than that, the magazine specializes in publishing pale echoes of provocative ideas I heard somewhere else a few years prior, wrapped in an aesthetic that hasn't been cutting edge for a decade. No wonder the readership is in free fall. But even though the ship is sinking, the old guard won't let it go down without a fight. As in, if anyone from the outside attempts to board the vessel in hopes of fixing its course or its holes, they will be swiftly taken care of. I should know, been there, done that. As it stands, the only full-time staff members who doesn't make me regularly attempt to cringe my face off with his writing is Lodestar's editor-in-chief, Brian. I don't know how to say that, actually. I'll just call him Brian. Okay, can you like chill the fuck out so I can read? The man sitting in front of me right now. Of course, he only has time for editorials these days. A drop in the sea of needs, managerial duties hit him hard. It's the second time he lets out a theatrical cough like this. He said his piece, now it's up to me to react. And I'm coming up blank. What do you want me to say, Brian? I'm pissed off. I can tell you've already made up your mind, but you still want me to go through the motions just to make me feel listened to. Whatever, let's do this. Okay, so my choices are Brian, the guy is guilty of major fraud. The man is a sexual harasser, Brian, and you're protecting complete piece of shit here. I'm gonna go with the middle. I feel stupid that I even have to say this out loud, but you're essentially covering up for a sexual harasser, Brian. No, I'm not. No, just face it. Let's say the Harvey Weinstein story appeared on your desk instead of reaching the New York Times. Don't you compare me to the Times. You know that's a low blow. You're asking for it, and you're not exactly in the position to talk about a low blow here. You know, that's not the core of the issue. You're avoiding the core of the issue. No, I believe I've pinpointed it in a precise way. If it were up to me, I'd greenlight the article here and now, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But you're killing the article just because some rich shithead told you he doesn't like it. Get real, this is not about some millionaire jerk calling me to take me an offer I can't refuse. What is this about then? Because it looks awfully like... It's about my bosses telling me this outlet can't afford the legal actions we have already been threatened with. So, millionaire interference. For crying out loud, Julia, don't make me treat you like a child. You know how this works. I publish your story. It's Steele versus Gawker all over again. A lawsuit here, a lawsuit there until we're bled dry. I have a mortgage. I have 3 mouths waiting to be fed at home. I have an amazing team that doesn't deserve to be torn apart over some... Don't you think it's telling you mentioned you're mortgaged first? Just asking questions. I know, better than to get into these empty semantic arguments with you, Miss Sawinski. Kind of right. You're good at them. The problem is, you're still not good enough. Meaning? You're too in love with weaving a good story and establishing a seductive narrative. Let facts get in the way. Got enough boring swades with no principles on board these days. They always give you facts because that's all they can do. I'm using facts as a way to approach some kind of truth. Except facts can blindside you, and Double Spiral has enough facts to water down your story to the point where it makes no sense to publish it. Their HR and PR are working overtime to deliver a convincing counter-narrative, and they're doing a great job. Won't mitigate the damage completely, but will put every little thing in question. Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, and a sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead. Julia. Let me say it again, Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead. Do you personally believe it or not? This is not... You've listened to the tapes, you've read the transcripts, you've seen the documents, you've got the files. I'm asking for your personal opinion. Do you believe it or not? Of course I do, but that's besides the point. It's not. Look, how about I just say it out loud and save us both some time? We're not having this conversation because there's an actual conversation to be had. You set up this meeting knowing very damn well this is the only way it's going to end. You've got a mortgage and 3 mouths to feed. You prioritize the well-being of your direct surroundings over some nebulous concept of greater good. I get it, I really do. Yet for some reason, it seems like you're only prolonging this conversation and rationalizing your decision so that I forgive you? Officially exonerate you? I'm not the bad guy here, Julia. Okay, have fun, Ham. So what are you? What are you then, in your own words? A man who does what is necessary to protect his own. So I don't count as your own anymore. He mutters something under his breath, ending with a self-pitying chuckle. I don't know if you'd ever want to work under a scumbag like me from now on. Oh, come on, don't turn this into a pity party. No, I'm absolutely a scumbag. And why is that? Because I'm firing you. My thoughts are scrambled. For a brief moment, the state of my bank account displays before my eyes with startling clarity. A howling void opens in my chest and it starts traveling. Why are you doing that right now, ma'am? It starts traveling towards my stomach. No, don't panic yet, you idiot. Get more information. Now, there must be a catch. Let me get this straight. This is Shadows, I believe. The one that Beep played. I've been working on stories and pieces, and I actually really like that it already has a setup narrative because it's just like, I don't have to like really think very hard. Because when I was playing Coteries, I was like, oh god, this is a lot. I would play that again, but I have to do like everything over. I've been working on stories and pieces no one else in your office would touch with a 10-foot pole. Constantly interviewing total nobodies, always busy traveling to the middle of the name finally because Lansambra, her clan, and her. Okay. Busy traveling to the middle of nowhere or regretting my last trip. Repeatedly ordering a clean up someone else's mess. Julia, all your long-winded spiels about how the disposable work is the most important work, and suddenly you only remember the disposable part? My feelings about the quality of your work remain the same as ever. It was vital. It kept the magazine going. I will always appreciate it. Then why would you threaten to fire me? I would never threaten you. It's a done deal. They've made their decision perfectly clear. They? What they? Who is they? He glances left and right, and then points upward for a short moment. When he speaks up again, it's in a hushed voice. You know, the big kahunas. Can't really question them, and they wanted your head on a silver plate. He's not looking me in the eye. You're not joking. I would never joke about stuff like this. It's real. Fucking hell, it's real. Damn it, damn it, damn. I'm not reading all those damn it's. All these years, all this grind, all my plans, and for what fucking asshole? You know I deserve better, and I always deserved better. It always ends with me going down the drain back to the sewers. Fuck. No. Take a few deep breaths. Don't lose the plot now. Keep yourself together, you idiot. The moment you show weakness, they go for your throat. Get back in control. You can't do this. I wish I didn't have to, but it's a lost cause. No, I mean, it's impossible. Julia, you can't fire someone who's never been hired in the first place. It takes him a few seconds to put on his, oh, I get it face. Let out a troubled gasp and start massaging his temples. Lodestar has been my biggest source of income for the past few years. That much is true, but technically nobody has ever hired me here. It was all freelance jobs. A full-time position only served as a kind of a dangling carrot, a promise of a decent pay grade, career prospects, maybe even some kind of insurance to save my failing health. And the recognition I would get for being a part of a Lodestar team, a position that everyone around me seems to respect. Aside from me. Then why did I want it so much? There'll be time to mourn what could have been. For now, I should act like I don't care. You know what I mean. If you let your work even under a fake name, it would be a guillotine for me. This is ridiculous. You know I'm going to start shopping this story around the second I leave this room, don't you? Of course I know. I told him. Any response? Let us worry about that. Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all. I do wonder if I'd get accustomed to one of those loud mechanical keyboards some people here love to use. Whenever I did my work in here, I still expected to bring my own crappy laptop and sit closer to the lobby, always on the outside, no matter how hard I tried to break in. A vibration in my back pocket. This music is like fucking so loud right now. Feels like a bad omen. I decided to ignore it now. I've been working on this fucking story for, I don't know, 16 months on and off. I know. You keep cheering me on. Or you kept. I know. We have even agreed on the pay I'd receive. I know. I'm 2 months behind on my rent. No, wait, 2.5. I catch him off guard. He's momentarily taken aback and he gives me an empathetic stare. Don't you look at me this way. You don't have the right. I didn't know. Well, now you do. Look, if there's anything I can do to help, if you can't tell your big kahunas to fuck off, I don't think there's a single thing. Julia. I pull out a smoke and light it up. Gotta get back in control. Please don't do that. There's a smoke detector here. No worries. Nick turned it off a few weeks ago. Probably the most creative thing he's done in the past 5 years. Good old Nick, the perfect 21st century cinema reviewer. Never has an original thought of his own, just relies on his purely... Oh, fuck. Hold on. Well, I like how good old Nick, the perfect 24th century cinema reviewer, never has an original thought of his own, just relies on purely algorithmic taste to stay likable. And the best thing is, it works. Funny, I used to dream about his job. It was Brian who killed his dream, making me realize Nick won't be unseated anytime soon, and offered to teach me the ways of an investigative journalist instead. There we go. Thank you. Wasn't the career I ever wanted to pursue, but to dismay, I turned out to be surprisingly good at it until this Montgomery thing happened. Serves me right, lesson learned. Should have pursued my dreams instead. Stop it, Nicholas is a good friend, a respected critic, a member of my team, and put that out. Put out that smoke. Sorry, that's a weird sentence. Please tell me I let you step all. People tell me I let you step all over me. Why do I even let you act this way? His talking is so weird right now. Because you once told me honestly it's most important in a mentor-student relationship, and that it works both ways, and because I thought we were friends. He bites his lip and stares sideways to avoid my eyes. At the end of the day, bosses aren't friends. Must have been a terrible mentor if I didn't even teach you that. Oh no, you're not getting off this. You're not getting off this hook that easily. You're still my mentor, and I will make sure you take responsibility. You're getting rid of me. At least point me in the right direction. I need to get my shit together fast, and I can't do it on my own. Fair. I might have failed as a guide, but I will do what I can not to leave you stranded, okay? There are options. None of them are a remedy for all your troubles, but... Ugh, wait a second. Another vibration in my pocket. Another foreboding feeling. This time, I recklessly take the smartphone out of my pocket. If it has to rain, why not let it pour? A new email. It's a lengthy one. And the sender? Speak of the devil. No, this can't be. Christ. I just got an email from Mila Lopez. She claims she's just been laid off from Double Spiral, same as Mike Antonoff and Jared Rivera. What? It's what happened. I'll spare you all her insults, okay? The key thing is that it seems their HR knows all the confidential information about my journalistic investigation and used it to shut everyone's mouth. Hell, apparently Montgomery walked up to Lopez as she was emptying her desk and told her to thank me for being a, quote, dumb and careless cunt. Can I say that on Twitch? Brian goes pale. Can I say that on Twitch? I think he has a good reason to. You fucking scumbag. You out of my sources? What? Of course not. What are you even saying? Oh, don't you dare play coy. It must have been either you or me. No one else, and you know the way I work. My investigation was basically untraceable, both on and offline. Carefully picked meeting spots, encryption upon encryption, every direct quote rewritten 5 times just in case all sorts of red herrings scattered around. I know my shit, you know I do. And this timing, did you just pass a flash drive to the beloved Bicunas during a meeting as a sign of goodwill? Look, I get you're upset, but why don't we just talk this through calmly? Very. This is Shadows of New York, I believe. Hi, Timbo. Fury takes the wheel and I'm just along for the ride. I can't do anything about it. In a deranged way, realizing you're just a passenger in your own body feels liberating. Let's just see it all unfold. Calmly, fuck you, Brian. Julia. I've been paranoid for months and months, acting like everyone I didn't know was an assassin or a corporate spy. I know I haven't messed up now in a way that would implicate all of them. Yeah, it's a visual novel. It's not the new one, because I've heard bad things. I've heard that game is so bad. You goddamn, you thought you could get away with this? I haven't done anything improper. Don't push the blame on me. So what? You're claiming it's my fault because you're never the guilty one. It's always the bosses, the economy, the obligations you have, and now me. Yeah, the visual novels. Oh yeah, the new one's out. It's just no one talks about it because it's super bad. Yeah, the visual novels are pretty good from what I understand. As I played the other one, I didn't get that far. I'd have to really redo everything if I was going to do it. I think I have a werewolf one that I played like, or was that Game Pass? I don't remember. That was an interesting game. It just was like really depressing. You're being silly. Quit with this martyr bullshit. Calm down or I'll have to. You immoral shithead, you motherfucking. Calm down for God's sakes. And so it goes. I yelled a lot of words I wanted to say for a long time, but held back. I fling a lot of insults I've been workshopping for years, hoping I never use them. I break a few things. I think it's Swan Song. Yeah, I think you're correct. At times, for a split second, I see a pity in someone's eyes. It's gonna haunt me for a long time, but in the heat of the moment, I don't care. These people, no, this company has nothing left to offer me, so at least let me take this catharsis. It's not good. If you're gonna get it, it better be on a deep, deep sale. In the end, a security guard has to come escort me out of the building, and that's the end of my journalistic career. I just feel like my world has crumbled into nothing. I mean, you have every right to. Like, Jesus, if I were you, I would have already broken down into a sobbing mess. I'd love to, but I'm a Subway, far too proud to cry in public, even now, and... Yeah, I think, remember that was, Mist was like, I really don't want Swan Song, but I want the fucking exclusive RPG. That's such a mood. And it's stupid, but I feel like someone out there keeps destroying everything I hold dear just to see my reaction, like it was a prank show and someone was waiting to record me crying. So out of sheer spite, I'm doing my best not to cry. Fuck you, whoever you are and wherever you are. That's the most Julia Sawinski thing I've heard. Spite is the greatest motivator, huh? I think that one's first person. I think that one's first person. Well, okay, so Swan Song was the game that was like announced and it was supposed to be really cool. And it got delayed so far back that I think they just stopped putting like, they stopped putting anything into it. Not feeling particularly motivated to do anything right now, to be honest. I just want to stay in bed until my shithead landlord calls the cops to forcefully evict me. Not surprised, shit. And that I know that whenever life decides to fuck you over, it's always one of the things after another. But this is too much. How much is too much? Let's recap this last week of June 2019. Oh, 2019, that was a good year. I've been kicked out of my job. Well, not that I've ever been hired. So let's just say my mentor broke every vague promise he ever made to me. A big thing I'd been working on for a year and a half went down the toilet. It's all useless. My boss didn't protect my sources properly, and now they keep trying to reach me through every possible channel to threaten me or just yell at me, and they have every right to react like that. Oh, I think you are thinking of Bloodnuts. I don't even remember how that's going. Did that get canceled? All of my side gigs were shut down. Nobody's replying to my emails. Someone's been dragging my name through the mud behind the scenes, and it worked. I still have no idea who's sending these shitty messages around. I've been asking, but listen, don't worry about it. I'm not going to stand idly by and watch you get canceled by some mean-spirited, delusional... No, that's not a good sign. I was Bloodlines the one that was supposed to be really cool? I don't even know. I'm so fucking confused now. To be, yeah. I don't know. Maybe you know, maybe that's an outdated like article. I said don't worry about it. The World of Darkness, yeah. I have 3 unread messages from my landlord. The message previews were stressful enough. A call came from Chicago, apparently. Dad has bladder cancer. Mom was in hysterics. She'd go crazy if she heard about my situation, so I have to pretend everything's okay whenever she calls. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Timbo. Why did World of Darkness close? I think I played the Apocalypse Werewolf game too, and that game was like, that was rough. That was a rough game. God, that was a long time ago. And she calls every day, and she just won't hang up before she unloads all her burdens on me. Because too much problems, and so Paradox, their parent company, said, "Okay, you're off." Oh, it was Paradox, and Paradox already has a lot of problems because a lot of their games are really rough around the edges, so it's really hard to, like, you know, get them to take off. And I can't blame her because we all had to learn to cope with dad's psychopathic tendencies somehow. Oh my god, Reich. White Wolf, okay. I was robbed. All my documents and what little money I had gone. Don't even know when or where it happened. And it's driving me crazy because I'm always extremely wary of pickpockets. And close it for TT Pro. Oh. Jesus. Jesus, miss. There's also a reason why I never finished the I don't know if I could go back to the other vampire game for that particular reason. I don't want to sound paranoid, but it really feels like a concerted attack. That's a word that feels fucking like a concerted. Paranoid is good. Anyway, I know you always hand wave this topic away, but just remember that if anything happens, my place is your place. You don't have to get through it alone. I do, but I've been in trouble magnet, and as self-centered as I may be, I don't want it to affect you. I know, listen, I have another call. Alright, just call me if anything happens, no matter how dumb it seems, okay? And swing by whenever you can. Damn, right. Damn. I put my phone away, exhale, and blankly stare in front of me. Christ. I glance at my reflection in the window. Just look at this idiot. Whenever the situation requires me to dress formally, I still feel a bit like a child cosplaying as an adult. Should have just followed the dress for the job you want advice and continue dressing up like a trust fund kid who keeps partying on Brooklyn rooftops for years without a care in the world. Listen, I don't think you remember the company name was worse than that name, right? The worst the real company name was worse than that, right? To the point that they almost changed it before everything happened. And naturally so, I start feeling uneasy, but someone enters my peripheral vision. Damn. Yeah, okay, you do remember. She's fucking cool. And that's the last thing I consciously register. The world dissolves. When I come to, I'm out of the subway, standing in a back alley I don't recognize. It's pretty dark. My eyes start adjusting and I try to figure out what happened. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. There's a gun in my hand. A faint silhouette at my feet. It's not moving. Oh, so in one of the Vampire core books, they addressed the Modar Jekian prison camps for LGBT. Oh, I see what you're going with that. My brain didn't register what you were saying until you put the last straw thing. Somebody stands in front of me covered in shadows. I can't fully make out her face, but she's staring at me with visible intent. She speaks. Her voice is raspy and androgynous, her tone hateful and mocking. Aren't you a nasty one? What is going on? Who are you? Don't play coy. My mind goes blank. I look at the ground. There's a body riddled with bullet holes, and I recognize who it was. They were like the Czechoslovakia. And killed gay people in 2018 because vampires. Oh no. Yeah. That sounds really bad. I can see why they were like, cut it off. The corpse belongs to Mike Antonoff, one of the double spiral whistleblowers. My source. He was just threatening to get back at me a few hours ago. Before I can feel even the tiniest bit of compassion, I face a terrible realization. They will think I'm guilty. Oh my god, am I guilty? Oh, is this real? Listen, what happened to this guy? This guy? Again, don't play coy. You knew him. He was mad at you. You started telling him sob stories about your situation. He wasn't having none of it. You got mad. Things escalated. He died. This isn't true. It's plausible, but that doesn't make it true. Or does it? This is just a nightmare. It doesn't even make sense. It must be a dream. And if it isn't, the person in front of me must be responsible. There's a faint voice in my head screaming that it's her world and I'm just living in it. What the fuck have you done to me? Nothing yet, but I'll do what I can to get you locked up for life. This is a murder in the first degree with special circumstances. No, that's not the voice. Her detached voice and nonsensical tone only reassures me this can't be real. I refuse to believe it is. Before I even manage to think this through, I point the gun at her. If I did murder him, you wouldn't be acting like that. You wouldn't be standing in front of me. You'd be running away, calling the police, begging for help, yelling that I'm a psycho. Oh, you are a psycho, but I'm not a coward. I won't let you walk away out of here alive. This doesn't make single lick of sense. Tears welling up in my eyes. Why are you doing this? Because sometimes one has to confront what they're really made of. There's no two ways about it. She's gotta be nuts. Slowly but surely, she starts walking toward me. Stop right there, I'll shoot. Go on. It's the only way you can get off the hook, isn't it? The only way you can survive. But you will definitely prove you're the monster I claim you are. What the fuck is this tone? She's so controlling, inauthentic, patronizing. I'm serious. For your own sake, you'd better be. She keeps getting closer. Maybe I did kill Antonov. Maybe I don't deserve to live. Maybe it's less tiring not to live. Maybe I should just let her take care of me. Maybe I will just wake up. Or maybe this is insane reality needs to be rejected as violently as possible. Maybe a world that wants to destroy me deserves to be destroyed. She's right in front of me. It's now or never. I won't shoot. Just help me. Please help me. I will. She yanks the gun out of my hand with ease. Her strength is horrifying, actually, and turns it against me. Then she pulls the trigger. With a gaping hole where my heart used to be, I fall down into Antonov's body. If it's any consolation to you, if that's the way you are, there's no chance you are ever going to amount to anything. I've just hastened the inevitable. You're a lowlife, not even worth drinking. I'm just angry at myself for wasting so much time and resources to give you a second chance. Sierra wanted me back in Chicago as soon as possible. She'll have to wait a bit longer. Oh, well. I have no idea what she's talking about, but I'm in no condition to care anymore. Did I just die? Did I just die? Oh no! I just died! Well, wow, okay. Wow, welcome to the end. How do I skip this? This is better than the other game, though. I will say, this is better than the other game. The other game is more you choose your character and you make a lot of choices. This one is very set. The cast and crew of Critical Role, Geek and Sundry. Interesting. Oh, the company pets. There's a dog named Ohio. There's a cat named Batman. Oh, don't make me go all the way through this again. I will cry. Oh, what? It deleted my character. It deleted my whole character. She does not exist. Miss, don't come for me. I don't deserve that. How do I, wait. How do I skip? I know, right? Fuck. You know, just me clicking. Welcome to me clicking. So essentially, I have to make the choice to shoot her. Hold on. Oh, but this thing is, it says you have to skip his control. Okay. I'm making the same choices. I'm making the same choices. Okay, here we go. I close my eyes and squeeze the trigger. A loud bang echoes through the alley. I'm afraid to look at what I've done. I've been to a shooting range once and felt absolutely horrified by the pistols. Such a small thing, but it can easily puncture a hole in the fabric reality is made of. Never knew I'd be able to use it against another human being. The very thought of it makes me want to puke. You were a right choice after all. I'm so glad. You haven't allowed yourself to break, but you've crossed the line I needed you to cross. There's a silent flame in you that could become an inferno if left unchecked. I sure hope it will. She's still alive. Her voice is coming from behind me. She put her hands around my waist, and her cold mouth touches my neck. I can feel my shirt getting violently torn off. I don't understand, but I'm too dazed to protest. That was your final test. Congratulations. You've proven yourself worthy. I can feel something sharp sliding into my neck. It's not too painful, just startling. Think a doctor pushing a needle into your vein without a proper warning. Then it hits me. Pure bliss. The dopamine receptors I've considered completely fried until now suddenly recover and start bombarding me with pleasure I've never known before. I finally let the tears go. They come floating. They've been waiting for years. It's such a relief. Is it raining? I feel like I'm in the middle of a deluge, at least, washing away all of my fears, all of my sorrows, all of my anger, all of my pain, all of my ego. I become one with the world, and the woman behind me, she's holding me tight, making me feel like the only important thing in this world. Everything else blurs. I feel something intense toward her. Something I've never felt before. Is this love? I hope it is. This is not you. This is a familiar, cynical voice in the back of my head. But it's okay. I never felt particularly fond of me anyway. New York, you're perfect. Oh, please don't change a thing. He who laughs in the shadows always has the last laugh. Hallelujah, praise be. When everything is cliche, nothing is. Isn't that the ever-distant utopia I've been chasing all along? People on the other trains, I hope you're doing fine. God, shut up. Just enjoy it. You finally understand. She's making love to me. She's giving birth to me. She's burying me. I'm pretty sure I've been dead for a while. I'm pretty sure I could stare at my own corpse in her hands from a distance for a moment. And then I'm alive again. She lifts her mouth from my neck. No, wait, I taste blood in my mouth. Was I drinking her blood too? I realize that whatever this was, it's over and I have to bask in the afterglow while I still can. I also immediately understand that I'm going to chase this fleeting feeling for the rest of my existence. Finally, she lets out a whisper which concludes the ceremony. No matter what happens next, don't forget, you're a monster. But you were lucky enough to be born into a world of monsters, so don't you ever mourn that fact. Embrace it. I like how the tutorial's like, if you fuck up and you die. or Nier, as Reich has found out. That's how Nier is. Once again, I find myself in Big Beat Burger. Familiar surrounding, faces I recognize, mood, same as it ever was. Still, I process it in an entirely different way. It all frustrates me now, or more precisely, makes me frustrated with myself. It's like I'm clinging to the remnants of a cocoon I've outgrown. Ugh. Oh no, she got hot! It's the same with these cigarettes. I don't need them anymore, so why do I keep holding on to them? Fucking hell, it's like I refuse to accept that I'm something better than I used to be. He's fine. He's fine. Just wait. A vampire. 2 nights ago, I met Karen. She embraced me, by which I mean she turned me into a kindred. She calls herself my sire, and me her child. He's fine. Yeah, he's fine. Hi, AOL. He's fine. There, yeah, we're doing a one shot. So I'm gonna read this. How a vampire turns their human into prey, a fellow vampire. For whatever reason, like most things, the details are a bit more gruesome than whatever romanticized images. He's fine. The details are a bit more gruesome than whatever randomized images Hollywood has shoved down everyone's throats over the years, unless you think total exsanguination followed by a replacement of your vital bodily fluids by someone else's sounds romantic. That's how they all are, so I don't know what the fuck they are talking about. A term for fellowship among vampires. He's fine. A thought had been coined among an uprising of Storm, but the Camarilla doesn't talk about that much. The one who makes you a bloodsucker, a vampire's name for a parent. Mine was Karen. What a sire calls his or her vampire progeny when they're being naughty. Sort of like when an exhausted mom calls their kid by their first name. Also tends to go to when somebody tells like they're out of, that's a terrible definition, to be honest. They essentially replace all of their shit with their shit. Yeah, they're like, you get Vitae, yeah. Last night, she taught me the basics of survival, drinking blood, manipulating humans, bending steel, controlling shadows. So wait, what is she missed? Yeah, it's their vampire blood. Tonight, I expected more lessons. Instead, she just told me to go out and enjoy myself. What's the catch, I asked, to which she responded, I might kill you if you prove to be a disappointment. L'ensemble. Okay. There are a few rules I have to uphold. The masquerade. I can't contact anyone I knew as a human. I can't let anyone realize I'm not human anymore. I can't embrace anyone, and so on. Honestly, VTM lore is very interesting. It's like, I know that's not your thing, Timbo. It is so fucking interesting. It's so like intriguing and well thought out, and I mean, the books are fucking huge. Otherwise, I'm free to do whatever I want, but for some reason, the first thing I do is come back here. Old habits die hard. Karen is probably watching me from somewhere even now. The way I understand it, tomorrow night she is supposed to introduce me to the Camarilla, a local society of vampires. Yes, Timbo. Turns out they are the ones who have been systematically ruining my life lately, all a part of some secret evaluation that I barely passed. Just imagining the reach they have makes me dizzy. They're one of the newer clans as they're part of the super evil vampires. In the recent edition, they were like, hey, we are gonna kiss all y'all's asses because we made a big mistake summoning our clan super vampire. Oh. After they destroyed the old me that I barely cared about, Karen rebuilt me anew. On one hand, her test left some scars that will take some time to heal. On the other hand, maybe I should just be grateful. I am snapped out of my thoughts by a sudden scream. Some douchebag yelling about his French fries not being salty enough. I think this is my cue to leave permanently. Goodbye, BBB. Hope I never see you again. They can't use electronics as their flaw, and they have taken... Oh, that's interesting. So that's the La Sombra, right? I'm destined for far greater things, you see. Oh, so now we get choices, right? This Tinder addict. Okay, chat, we're gonna make some choices. Amita bullying this unfortunate victim. I probably shouldn't interfere, but what better chance could I find to test what I've become? Time to swing it a little more on a devil's dance floor. The club beckons, or this Tinder addict smells like a bit of loser, wannabe intellectual, a perfect source of nourishment. Queen of the Dam. Essentially they said, hey Akasha, just wake up a little bit. I think you know what movie I'm talking about, Mist. So Tinder, dancing, or we're gonna chomp. Oh, I made the choice. I'm sorry. I made the choice. I didn't realize what that button did. Two men are facing each other in a dark back alley. One of them sent this back against the wall, his chest heaving as he's been struggling to catch his breath. Yeah. Valencio. People, anybody out there? I'm being robbed. A brawny, rugged guy is yelling at metal staircases with a theatrical incredulity in his voice. With a lively step, he dances around an older man who's having trouble finding his footing. What is this bullshit? Oh, so now you can talk good because I'm dying to hear what you did with my wallet, Holmes. Oh no. I'm not doing that accent. Wallet, I have no idea what you're talking about. The goon starts prancing around like a Muay Thai boxer. He's smiling, but his eyes send a clear message. You're cornered, buddy. Don't even try to pull a fast one on me. Come on, homeboy. You may be able to trick an average Joe on the street with your act, but a fighter recognizes a fighter. It's like an animal thing. It's an instinct thing. You've got some moves on you. You're like shit. You're like a black mamba, lightning fast reflexes. He starts shadowboxing you for a moment. The man's definitely got energy to spare. However, I'm like a king cobra. This is some dialogue. You've met your match. Two apex predators now locked in battle. Also, you're seeing snakes. That would explain something. Before he's able to finish, a sucker punch knocks the air right out of his lungs. The old man slides down the wall. Before he can let out a groan, he's interrupted by a brutal kick to the chest. That's what I'm talking about. Fighting spirit even when you're cornered. Ugh. Take a seat, deep breath, collect your thoughts before you speak again. Remember where you put my wallet now? I think I'm pretty sure you broke my rib. An eye for an eye, a rib for a ribbing. Biblical punishment. It's only fair, homie. Mm-hmm. There, at least admit this is the mugging. Wallet my ass. Still in denial. Okay, let's say I had about 5,000 bucks in there. Give me 6 grand and I'll let you walk away. Relatively unharmed. So you admit it. Admit what? That this is not about proper compensation. This is a robbery. Look, buddy, this is beginning to bore me. Unless you want me to go all Anderson Silva on your... I don't get that boxing reference or whatever that is. Give me what I want. Anderson Silva? Yeah, Anderson Silva. A flying knee meeting your solar plexus. The man, the myth, the legend. Resilient. Yeah, there we go. I'm not reading all of that. He fights. He fights people. He fights. Sorry, I'm not reading that. I've been studying the glorious singularity that is Anderson Silva for years. Every move I have, I owe to him. So if you don't want this snake to turn into a deadly spider, what are these references? Show me the money, honey. Summer 2013 Las Vegas. Huh? Watched it live on pay-per-view. Widman saw through all of Silva's tricks, whooped his ass, broke his spirit, showed him for a fraud he is. The man hasn't been the same ever since. All the empty showboating, hollow taunting, drunk on his own Kool-Aid. Jesus. Of course you idolize him, asshole. For a good minute, the goon silently looks down at the whimpering man at his feet, chewing on his lower lip. When he finally speaks up, his voice betrays an intent to kill. You know what, homeboy? Screw the money. This is a matter of honor now. My thoughts exactly. Ha! He raises his fist. We've got ourselves a mixed martial arts expert here, huh? For your own sake, I hope you can back that talk with some self-defense skills, homie. Can I just, like, fucking punch him? That's enough. He jumps at the sound of my voice, turns my way in the blink of an eye, and immediately assumes a combat stance. His reflexes are sharp. Looks like he has at least this much to back up all his bravado. Warner B. Anderson Silva's face betrays utter confusion upon seeing me. He's got no idea how I managed to sneak up on him. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be able to explain it myself. It felt like I became one with the darkness, my pure consciousness traversing a dusky dreamscape, jumping from one shadow to another as if I were different trains of thought. I think of some experiences I've had with psychedelics. Every blink an adventure. I was outside of this alley, blink. I was above the alley, blink. Now I'm in front of the sky. And he pisses me off. The older man slumps down. Looks like he was trying to his best to keep it together and gave up once the cavalry arrived. The goon regains his composure and barks at me in an overly gruff way. The hell are you sneaking around here for, chica? Move along. This is between men. Not anymore. His fist turns towards me. I'm serious. An equal opportunity ass kicker. I respond to the threat with the brightest, most innocent, virginal smile I can put on. So you're into shadow boxing, huh? Something comes over me. I can feel the darkness embracing me, whispering sweet nothings in my ear, pumping me up for what's to come. I've always wanted to try this. I zoom in, duck below his fist, and sweep him off his feet with a powerful roundhouse kick. That's probably the dumbest, flashiest thing I could have done, but I'm feeling more confident than ever. He flies into the air, only managing not to fall because of the wall behind him. I know what he's thinking. I should have blocked it, and he happily should have. But instead, he just flailed his arms helplessly as if he suddenly found himself in front of an oncoming train, a primal expression of fear that suddenly and completely took over him. I don't know how I look right now, but judging by his expression, my best guess is like the gaping maw of some primordial beast. I follow up with a surprise attack with another punch to the solar plexus, or at least my nearest estimate. Once again, the full effect terrifies even myself. Looks like my hunch was correct, and I hit the right spot. He falls to the floor, whining like a wounded animal, tears streaming down his face. I let him collect himself a bit, and then I grab him by his chin. Learn to choose your battles, homeboy. Let me go. For Christ's sakes, just let me go. I kick him in the direction of the alley entrance. He staggers off quickly, disappearing from my sight. I check on his victim. Looks like he's conscious. Wow, you've whooped his ass, girl. But he hasn't noticed anything out of order. Good, I was getting worried I might have overdone a bit. That woman did say that keeping a low profile will be crucial if I want to survive. You all right? Need help? He manages to stand up. His smile is strained, but it suggests he's fine, or at least trying his best to seem fine. No, you gave me all the help I needed. And then some. Thank you, Miss, what's your name? Jessica. Thanks, Jessica. I was worried for a second, but this asshole's bark was worse than his bite. He's probably in some worse shape than me now. I guess that counts as a victory. I'd better be going. My wife is probably worried sick. But before that, if there's anything I could do to repay you. I want to celebrate tonight. Where would you go if you were me? Celebrate, huh? First thing that comes to your mind. I want to feel alive. Times Square? Times Square? Jeez, get the fuck out of here with that tourist bullshit. I came here a few weeks ago myself, still haven't managed to see it, and I always wanted to. In the movies, it always seems so full of life. So, not so full of life at this time of the night, and not that interesting in general. Although, I think you're just helped me come up with an idea. Glad to hear it. Take care, will you? You too, avoid shady spots next time. I probably won't be able to bail you out. And then there he goes, avoid shady spots, huh? Glad I no longer have to abide by my own advice. No more worrying about being out after midnight. No more feeling uneasy whenever I spot a shady asshole across the street, ever. Hell, I could start jogging in Central Park after midnight now. Not that I need to. Future's looking bright. Okay, so Tinder. I'm gonna go with Tinder boy. Ooh, this is pretty. He lowers his eyes awkwardly, thinking how to proceed with his rant. Oh. This... Oh. This is an interesting character. I like how his glasses are like crooked. So it's like the conversation isn't really smooth. Yeah, it's like I keep throwing shit against the wall. I keep seeing what sticks, but nothing seems to stick for long. You understand, yeah? Uh-huh. It's really this lack of context that's killing me about online dating. It's bad enough where a few photos and a single sentence are all you have to rely on when starting a conversation, yeah? But when a cosmic miracle finally happens and she's actually willing to keep lying to you and she's actually downright down to meet up eventually and you're out there sitting with her. Oh God, I just had the flashback. And after 90 minutes, you still don't have that shared context, just no clue whatsoever. It's just like, take me out and put a bullet in my head and put me out of my misery. I hear you. So it's just one of those dates, and it's like we've been sitting here for ages, and the only thing that she has prolonged interest in is getting as hammered as possible. Just one drink after another. Dear God, why am I doing this? This is a very this is a specific person that's in my brain right now that's hurting my head. Because I feel like everyone's probably gone out with this person. And the more drunk she is, the more familiar she's getting. It's like these little things, you know, touching my upper arm after each joke, or her arm on my shoulder, her juggling punching my waist. This escalation is subtle, but steady. In addition, one recurring topic appears, and this is all the cool shit she has, and wishes she could have shown me. It's too bad it's all back in her apartment. And then when it hits me, she just wants to fuck. Sleep with me. Yeah, when you meet someone on Tinder, this happens sometimes. Yeah, well, eventually we both run out of ideas for topics that could potentially be interesting to the both of us. So I'm just like, yeah, I'd sure love to see all the crap in your apartment. So we Uber there, and it's admittedly a pretty nice apartment, like nothing too fancy, but I can tell her dad is kind of an asshole, so I'd like to punch him in the face if I ever meet him. You know what I mean? What the fuck is this? Is so specific. So she guides me to the kitchen and makes me some tea, a rare Indian blend. Forget what it was 5 minutes later, then she excuses herself to go to the bathroom and doesn't come back. 10 minutes later, I run out of tweets to read and become a little concerned. I start looking around. The first thing that catches my eye is the kitchen table. Go on. Table is surprisingly large, and it's covered in neatly arranged documents, like some connected dots investigation board mafia conspiracy kind of thing. Naturally, I take interest. Takes me 20 seconds to process what it is. Her entire mental health history, sort of chronologically with all juicy stuff, neatly underlined in color, and I mean entirely. It's all there. A detailed description of her fucked up household situation over the years, anxiety, ADHD, bouts of depression, suspicions of schizophrenia, severe BPD, some weird psychosexual stuff with her brother. Ah! No! No! What the fuck? Why did I choose this? No, no. Oh, this is great. Keep reading and reading. And I remember what I said about throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. I'm dead certain that's how Shrinks went about diagnosing her. She finally comes out of the bathroom like an hour after she went in. At this point, I've read all the shit on the tables there 3 times, and just not the stuff she's highlighted for me for my convenience. And I feel like right now I understand her better than like someone who's read Crime and Punishment and understands Raskolnikov's Raskolnikov. I don't know how to say that word. Not happy with that like at all. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. She walks in with a cheerful hi. I respond with a slick, oh good, and she nods. She does this weird finger gun thing and chuckles. I pretended to doing work-related stuff on my phone the whole time. The small talk starts. A minute in, she casually picks up one of the documents on the table and starts doing these super obvious body language cues that are like, oh no, how did this get here? I'm practically dying inside, but I put on my cool face and make it look like I'm not here. Sorry, gotta reply to my boss. Yeah, he's lurking 24/7, psycho motherfucker, yeah. She slowly collects all the documents, puts them away, and then like nonchalantly asks me something about Tame Impala while I'm feeling crushed by all kinds of trauma I've just learned about. The apartment starts feeling like a coffin. All of a sudden, she picks up a kitchen knife and starts playing with it like, with this zoned out stare. I'm fucking mortified. So what do you think I did? You slept with her. Of course I slept with her. That's how the worst 6 months of my life began. I couldn't even say I didn't see it coming. God, I'm such a slut. Oh, this game, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. He leans back and groans while he's hiding his, I can't do this. Can't play this game. This is great. He leans back and groans while hiding his face behind his palms. I look at his neck. Every vein seems so visible and possibly alluring. I don't think I ever looked at anyone's neck like that. I realize I feel insanely thirsty. Damn. I know. Sure took a turn years ago when this rant began. It was about a continental philosophy. Yes. Yes, Mist. Yes. What? Sorry, can you say that again? He's pretty drunk, barely able to focus on anything but his current train of thought. Just what I was hoping for. Years ago, when this... Never mind. Listen, it's stuffy in here. I want to go out, get some fresh air. You haven't touched your drink. I mean, I would if I could. No more alcohol for me. What? No, this is not mine. I mean, some dude bought it for me, but I don't want it. He scans the room with a death stare, looking for the guy who did it, not realizing his best chance of finding him.
Gamer juice. Okay, I'm just extracting Baja Blast from their body.
Yeah, gamer juice. Not realizing his best chance of finding him is in a mirror. Then he drinks like a half of my glass at once, while looking around as if he was hoping to prove his dominance over an unseen enemy. Okay, after you. We're walking across mostly empty. We're gonna freaking get that Baja Blast. We're gonna get Baja Blasted. He was drinking the Mountain Dew hard seltzer. I love the background images that I use because this looks so good. We're walking across a mostly empty street. He's focused on keeping upright and walking in a straight line. I'm focused on finding a spot where I can drink him up. You seem like bad news. Oh yeah? So why don't you just leave me alone? Determinism, I guess. I roll my eyes and that's when I notice it. A deep, underlit stairwell. I look around and realize there's no one around. This is my chance. I immediately yank him downstairs. It's almost pitch black, but I can see his face. He doesn't seem shocked. It's more like awkwardness. Now, listen, it's not that I never wanted to do this sort of thing in public. Quite the opposite. It's just that I need a certain degree of comfort to perform at optimal levels. Oh, shut up. I sink my fangs inside of his neck as he whimpers and becomes silent. Finally, that's what I've been waiting for the past hour. He relaxes in my arms, and I relax with him. It's like all the drinks I had to deny myself until now are hitting my head all at once, with no unpleasant side effect. I feel radiant. I don't want this moment to end, but it has to. I drop his body to the floor and lick the wound closed, just the way she taught me. His pulse is faint but steady. He reeks of booze. If anyone finds him, there should be no suspicions. As I walk up the stairwell, I inch a finger into my mouth and try to sense my fangs. No dice. It seems they really are retractable. Well, that's handy. The hunger pangs are gone. I rub my hands around my body. I feel comfortable, hopeful, happy. I remember the last time I enjoyed life like this. Now let's keep this party going. Oh, this is so cool. Oh, I'm going to take a really quick break.
Very thirsty tonight.
We make games. I make money. All the money. That's me on the street. This is the human dog. What's going on? Wario downloaded LimeWire. Wario downloaded Bonsai Buddy, and this is what happened.
We gotta go. Oh, I just never went. That's much better. Should have gone further out. Before my click checkpoint. To that. That's not that part. I don't even think I got that part. Which is one? Oof! Her head flew off. Oh, that was iconic. Hello. Oh, so in this universe you could also be a bagger, so you don't like you put the blood in stuff. You can save it for later. That's like a specific trait. Wow, what a night. Oh, thank you for shouting out everyone, Reich. I watched Times Square from above. It's beautiful. Never thought this place could make me emotional, to be honest. But here I am feeling deeply moved. Wouldn't have thought. That one guy saved from a beatdown will probably get bored of his place 5 minutes after an obligatory selfie, although I guess one's enjoyment of these sites depends a great deal on perspective. I mean, technically you choose in the RPG. I don't know about like how they're doing it though. Because right, you're doing, which one did you choose? I chose bagger. For specific reasons I chose bagger, and then also I was able to tie it in with someone else's story. Because Werewolf is running a bar, and I was like, oh, well then technically since I'm a bagger, that would be cool if we like collaborated with me giving you money, or not money, me giving you blood to put in like cocktails. In any case, I'm glad he gave me the idea. Getting up here was surprisingly easy. All things considered, took more thought than physical effort. Earlier tonight, I started experimenting with this body's limits. I realized I can jump over small buildings and climb steep walls with ease now, and my whole perception of space has shifted. I planned a scenic route across the rooftops. I did my best to avoid attracting attention, just as I was told, stayed in the shadows as much as humanly possible. I spotted Joan from afar. For a second, I feel uneasy, but I remember what she told me. Machines won't get a clear view of me anymore. Camera footage, photos, it's all glitched out or blurry. Wouldn't take it for granted if I didn't try to catch my reflection earlier on. I couldn't see my face clearly, not in the mirror, not even in a puddle. My face was like one of the Dolly's clocks. She told me to keep a low profile regardless. Someone might take note and track you down. She didn't care to elaborate, but it didn't sound encouraging. Miss, does that mean there's the other game where that person's like a fucking streamer? How does that work? Suddenly it hits me that I might never be able to see my own face again. I won't even be able to take care of my looks by myself. What about long-term psychological effects? A knot of anxiety tightens in my stomach. Jesus, this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. What else is gonna change? Calm down, wait a second. These past few nights have been the best of my life. For years, I was on a downward spiral, failing health, no future, a feeling of overwhelming powerlessness. Now everything has been flipped upside down. A total paradigm shift. A bad ending is no longer the only option. I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow. I forgot how that feels. Where it used to stand at mere seconds to midnight, the doomsday clock has been effectively turned off. A cold breeze brushes my cheek. As stupid as it sounds, I choose to read it as the world telling me to chin up. I can bend anyone to my will. I am capable of superhuman strength. I'm a master of the shadows. I can do anything. Tomorrow night, I will be introduced to my duties. If everything goes according to plan, I will become a New York City representative of Clan Lumsombra. Let's see what that says. A vampire's family tree, specifically those sharing common blood. Imagine everyone who's your blood relative. Everyone you can picture gathered around the table at Christmas, all sharing the same strength. Okay, I get that. These are very odd descriptions to me. The Camarilla is the big boys and girls in town, the largest vampire sect I know of. Plays well with mortals, or rather plays mortals like a fiddle. Manipulative and rigid in structure, almost feudal really. There's a prince involved, no joke. Heavily invested in maintaining the masquerade and other so-called traditions, which helps with the 2 previous points. Cool. Whoever they are, whatever that means, I have no idea what to expect. But tonight is tonight. I'm free. All my worries from a month ago feel like they belong to someone else. Finally, things are looking up. Uh-oh. Okay. March 2020. Oh. Oh, COVID's about to hit. Oh no. Oh no. I didn't sign up for this depression. Again. Familiar sounds, familiar smells, familiar faces. Yet again, I'm recalling that night when everything finally seemed to change for the better. I mean, it's not like I wasn't expecting everything to go back to the old depressing normal. Even in the thick of it, the rational part of me recognized my state. But these highs, there's always a hope it won't end, or maybe that an ego death will finally occur. But be satisfied, you stupid fucking bitch, I command you. Here's all the logical evidence for why you should be satisfied. Here's the obvious direction for your life, and here's a detailed explanation of how you should treat the people that care for you. No, Dice, I always fall back into the same old habits. It's like they were encoded deep in my DNA. The aimlessness, the powerlessness, the spiritual exhaustion, these goddamn fast food trips. The stupid fucking self-loathing now amplified whenever I drink somebody's blood. Maybe I should just blame it all on the misfortune of my birth. You do this social climbing until you dissociate, and then you are just this untethered, constantly frustrated ball of dumb desires. Except I'm sort of immortal right now, and I need to figure out what to do next. I watched this obscure Asian movie once. Eli Lema Sabakan. Wait. Eli Lema Sabathani, starring Tadanobu Asano, one of the coolest guys in the world. He plays this Merzbow-like figure, a legendary noise musician. There's this mysterious virus spreading all around the world, causing despair and mass suicides. A rich CEO's granddaughter gets sick and longs to die, so he spends a fortune searching for the cure. Turns out Asano and his friend, played by this violent Osen geisha guy, are traveling through Japan, searching the corpse-strewn towns and fields for any unique item that can produce beautiful sounds. As it turns out, the avant-garde walls of noise they create are able to heal the infected. The CEO begs the band to help, offering them all the money they want, but for some reason they refuse. Through a series of flashbacks, concert, and vignettes, a mystery unfolds. Eventually, we realize that Asano's music is not just a remedy, it's also a cause of the virus. Whenever it connects with people, they get this hunger for more extreme, more novel experiences. And eventually, they hit a wall. Nothing can satisfy them anymore. They lose their will to live. Not even the musicians are spared from this curse. They know the end will come, sooner or later. The girl is saved by a mind-blowing concert, but the tragedy is merely postponed, not averted. The last shot of a Jesus-like Asano silently considering his role as savior and destroyer stayed with me. The form of the film is abrasive, little to no narrative coherence, some weird cartoonish creative choices, the Japanese noise soundtrack, the very freeform and hard to understand weave of themes. But at this point, movies like this are all that truly connects with me. I'm the New York City representative of the La Sombra clan now, also known as the Night Clan. They are masters of shadows who cast distorted reflections and make modern tech go haywire in their presence. Oh, that's what Miss was saying. Last year, a few months before I was embraced, the La Sombra had joined with the Camarilla, the biggest and more traditional sect in the vampire world. So let's see. That's us, the Night Clan. Other kindred call us magistrates. Magisters? Abyss mystics or turncoats if they want to drive home the fact that many La Sombra switched sects in recent years. The way Karen told the story, we used to be the brains behind the Sabbat, a pretty nasty group working in opposition to the Camarilla. They've since left for the Middle East for the most part, but a sizable chunk of my clan opted out and changed sides. Traditionally, we were entrenched in the Catholic Church back in Europe, but not for some mystical reasons. Our past was that of coercion and puppetry, so pulling the strings of important religious leaders was just a means to an end. The Night Clan is also borderline Darwinian in their philosophy about embracing new members. The shittiest period of my life was fully orchestrated by Karen in order to see if I was good La Sombra material. They do not care for losers who just take it lying down. Then there's this dark. I'm still coming to grips with it, but apparently shadows aren't just the absence of light to us. They're openings in some kind of hell, and we can wield them or use them to contact the dead. The downside, we share the classic vampire feature in that we don't really have clear reflections. This also transfers to not playing well with cameras, and by extension having issues to... Oh, so this specific clan has... Oh, okay, I understand it now. Okay. Two groups are actually used to fight each other, but our leaders found some intel that made them reconsider their strategy, so they sent a diplomatic mission to parley with the historical enemies. The deal they got in Chicago was simple. An unlife for an unlife. For every La Sombra vampire allowed in the Ivory Tower, one La Sombra vampire has to meet their ultimate end. I still remember the name of the woman who met her final death so I could begin my unlife. Her name was Hester Reed, a sworn enemy of the Camarilla, a guerrilla fighter who spent decades opposing them. She was someone with far better principles than mine, from what I've gathered. Well, whoever she was, her execution by my sour served to convince the NYC elites to give us La Sombra a chance. Then they set out to look for a mutually agreed upon candidate who'd become the clan's rep in the city. My sire searched for someone who gave the impression she was more than she appeared. The local court was looking for someone they could walk all over. After long negotiations, they decided I was a good compromise. They proceeded to systematically destroy my entire life just to make me show I was psychologically strong enough to join their ranks. The turncoat special, they called it. Somehow, I succeeded. And it eventually led me right back to where I started. I stopped writing and put my pen down. Oh, she's cool as fuck. Will that be all? Yes, Miss Duvall, I hope you enjoy your stay in London. Oh, I will very much doubt I will, just like every other cultured person. I think the only good Englishman is a dead Englishman. Must be nice traveling the world and all that. Caracas, Mogadishu, Shanghai, the blood tastes the same everywhere. Anywhere you go, the biggest difference is that your duties become more of a hassle. Miss Duvall, every word you uttered tonight just made you more punchable. That will be all. Tell Kadar I said hello and farewell. Safe travels. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Psycho. Well, I'm the lone La Sombra in this town. My representational rule means jack shit. No title, no perks, no whatever. Right now, I'm the court's gopher doing all sorts of work nobody else will touch. My main duties being a sort of immigration officer. See, New York City is probably the biggest vampire travel hub in the USA, and definitely the biggest one on the East Coast. Almost every kindred arriving from Africa and Europe comes through here. The local Camarilla is nuts about bureaucracy and population control, though every vampire leaving or arriving in this town is supposed to check with me to inform me about their travels. Well, in theory at least, the VIPs play by the different rules. They take care of this stuff through connections and servants. But for the smaller fish, unlike a vampire Statue of Liberty, the first bloodsucker every kindred coming to New York City should see, on paper anyway. The first after the prince or Kadar, the Primogen Council? These things vary. Yeah, I'm naturally traitorous La Sombra, though they still prefer being traditional and hands-on about these things. As I said, at the end of the day, I'm just a gopher, and this work only serves to remind me I'm not quite in just standing at the gate. They haven't even given me an office. I just meet everyone in public places such as coffee shops or this fast food restaurant. Some consider this an insult and lash out at me, but luckily most of them don't understand we're in the same boat. Only here because we're curs who need to be reminded of our place from time to time. Speaking of, my last client is 15 minutes late, and I still have more errands to run tonight. This is getting irritating. To be honest, I should just find some self-respect and leave. But I won't. My sorry upbringing left me with a stupid sense of responsibility. 10 more minutes pass. Eventually, an unfamiliar woman appears by the door. She tells someone to stand by the door and walks in. Oh, she's cool as fuck. Long chestnut hair, body stuck in her late teens by the look of it. A fashionable scarf covering most of her face, elegant clothes, dignified walk. I signal her to sit in front of me, trying my best not to let my impatience show. She obliges. You here to check in? I am Julie Sawinski, I presume. She's scanning her surroundings like we're at a circus. I hope you won't mind if I make it quick. I'm needing an Elysium name. Ooh, what's Elysium? What's Elysium? A courthouse for vampires, or a designated peaceful place we can go to seek resolution, often hidden in plain sight in notable public buildings also used by mortals, such as museums, art galleries, and the landmark government offices. NYC is typical in this respect, as the current Elysium in the gallery in Queens called the Art Hole. Wait, this is the same place as the other game. Okay. Catherine Weiss. Oh, I swear I've heard that name before. Someone else's description of her crosses my mind. That weird lady who owns the art hole, but is never there? Weird. So it is her, Catherine Weiss, the owner of the art hole, de facto headquarters of the New York City Camarilla. For fuck's sake, Julie, what are you doing calling her weird right off the bat? God knows you've already made a fool of yourself in front of everyone. Enough VIPs in the city. Recover. I'm sorry, it's just that I still know many people there. I have to go by the description I'm given by members of the Primogen. Well, the description is mostly correct, outside of that one word that slightly perplexes me. Calling the petal black sounds like. Oh, from what I've gathered, it's just that your interests are rumored to be not fully aligned with the Camarillas, and it irks some folks up there. Being a keeper of Elysium is not enough for some. I see, I expected as much. But what can you do? Well, what can you do? She seems chill. Good. Anyway, Catherine Weiss. Wow. Yes, want me to spell it? Some people often have trouble getting it right. Forgive my indiscretion. It's just that people of your stature usually don't bother checking in with me. They usually report their arrival to one of the Primogen, and they make all the arrangements. I heard Prince Panhard is busy with the preparations for her big party. I assume that if I spared her some paperwork, she'd appreciate it as a gesture of goodwill. Besides, I want to meet the infamous La Sombra representative out of sheer curiosity. My interest piqued once I heard about her. He looks around knowingly. Unique circumstances. Yes, Prince Helene Panhard had trouble justifying the exorbitant rent my property would need. That's literally pennies for her. And as far as I know, she's been sitting on an empty property since last year. Looks like they've got it out for you. Bad. That's what I assumed, but it's nice to get a confirmation. Well, It's not like my clan has ever been particularly popular in these parts. At least that's what I've heard. Sins of the fathers and so on. Yes, just to make sure you've never met Hester, but you know of her. I do know. I wouldn't be here if not for her. Have you two met? No, I only heard of her once or twice. We had similar outlooks on many issues, although we tended to come up with a completely different solution. In any case, I think it meaningful that Hester died so that you could live. They feared her, now they fear you, and that's why you're keeping you down. If anyone who's not a VIP said this to me, I'd laugh in their face. Oh, I get what she's doing. She's trying to buy my favors. Best not to act like I'm easy to please. Stick to business. Time will tell. In the meantime, I'll need you to help me out with my documentation. Of course. So where are you coming from? Washington, D.C. He says it with the way people in Hollywood movies say it. The way that suggests her Washington is wildly different from the Washington you and I would see. What were you doing there? Take a guess. Government work? Write that down. It ought to amuse Helene a little bit. If you say so. Date and hour of arrival? She takes out a plane ticket and slides it towards me. It's all here. 1 a.m. Got it. Method of transit, plane, purpose of visit. Meeting with Prince. Ought to work just fine. I guess. Estimated duration of visit? Undefined. Right in 6 months if you really need to know. Place of accommodation, conditions of intended stay. That whole conditions should be adequate. You tell me. I tend to be happy with Airbnb. Home sweet home? I'm not certain that I ever felt particularly at home here. That makes 2 of us. Curious, do you have nothing holding you here? The face of a blonde-haired friend appears in my mind's eye, then vanishes. There's nothing holding me anywhere. I see. A long silence. She stares into my eyes and I return the stare. She's studying me. It's unnerving, but I do my best not to turn away. Eventually, she smiles. Didn't you say you were short on time? Oh god, yes, Kadar will kill me. I quickly begin to collect my stuff from underneath the table. You can simply inform him I paid you a visit. He'll understand, and I'll pass it on to everyone who should be in the know. Do you need anything else? I'm fine. I was about to ask you that myself. You're the one asking questions here. That's all from me. Good. We will see each other soon, I hope. Party tomorrow night? I wasn't invited. She gives me a pitying look. I understand. Well, if not given the opportunity, we should make our own. I'll be in touch. Good night, Miss Weiss. I wish you a pleasant stay. Good night, and don't rush these things. You've got a whole life ahead of you, and you're in a position where you can take it easy, take your time, get a different perspective. I nod and walk slowly out the door. When I lose sight of the restaurant, I sprint toward the subway. Slow night? I wish. You're late again, by the way, I hope you have a good excuse. Kadar al-Asmai, the mighty sheriff of New York City, is not happy with me. No wonder I met him in front of Elysium 30 minutes later than the time we had agreed on. Yeah, well, Catherine fucking Weiss decided to arrive fashionably late. A likely story. She's supposed to be out of the city. If you think I'm pulling your leg, boss, feel free to check my report. I pass him all of the official papers, the way I do every other night. Kadar stares me down for a good few seconds, then his steely gaze softens. You're serious? Weiss in McDonald's with the mask and elegant clothes surrounded by the smell of french fries and hamburger patties? That must have been one hell of a sight. Technically, it was BBB, not McDonald's. But yeah, God, I made such a fool of myself. First thing I did, I quoted somebody's calling her a weirdo. I wanted to die on the spot. Serves you right, you walking faux pas. I've been trying to teach you to control your tongue, but you never learn. It's a new gaffe every week with you. Still, there's good news and bad news. The good news is Catherine has found us for vampires of humble beginnings. Probably why she decided to see you in your, shall we say, natural habitat. He's one of those rich art scene assholes who seek out working class and cred. I did say something about watching your tongue. The bad news is she is very astute. so she can recognize a moron like you straight away. You never stood a chance at impressing her. Oh, shut up. You still mean me for anything here? I'll get on straight away. I wouldn't be standing out here chatting with you if I hadn't taken care of my duties. 30 minutes is all it took to finish preparations for the big party. I'm about to see everyone off. Sorry. Couldn't be helped, I suppose, and it's more your loss than mine. I just wanted some company tonight, and you could really use the chance to appear here on official duties so everyone can get to know your face. Heaven knows your fast food job isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to, what do they call it, hustle? You didn't need to tell me that, but it's like being paraded around for a bunch of blue-blooded douchebags is. He somehow manages to give me a painful nudge in the back of without so much as a hint of visible movement. Language, you fool. They're coming out. Just stand here in silence for 5 minutes and focus on embarrassing yourself any further, will you? Ugh, got it. The first two silhouettes appear in the doorway of the art hole. An old man in a wheelchair pushed forward by his young servant. Haven't seen either of them before. Oh, God. Mr. Payne, the night is still young. Hope you find the rest of it pleasant. Payne, the wheelchair. I've heard about him. Addison Payne, one of the American Camarilla's main connections to the government and Wall Street, disabled in quite a few years, needs a servant to communicate. I'd be full of resentment if it embraced in this condition, but apparently Payne is nothing but grateful for his immortality. He keeps writing fervent defenses of the traditions and Camarilla customs. Good night, Mr. Payne. He wordlessly shakes Kadar's hand, but doesn't even deign to acknowledge me. At least the servant gives me a small bow. I return it, they leave. Kadar turns to the next person leaving. Hi, Regent. Can't wait to see you in your outfit. Oh, she's hot. Spare me, Sheriff. These fancy dress parties cause me enough suffering without your help. I can only hope you haven't conspired with Helene to embarrass me with this gift. She points to a shrink-wrapped set of clothes she's carrying inside her coat. Kadar smirks briefly. I didn't have to. As you well know, Prince Panhard displays a considerable foresight in the matter of party planning. Yes, if there's one thing she's deathly serious about, it's frivolities. A recognizably mortal quality, especially for a prince. We ought to celebrate it, not oppose it. Don't worry, Sheriff. I'm a big girl who knows her etiquette. I will play your game, amuse the crowd a little bit, and return to my study as fast as possible. Aisling Sturbridge, High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, a hero of the Battle of New York, the biggest warlock in town. Could be a prince herself if she didn't have her eyes on a bigger prize. The thing is, nobody knows what the prize is. They only know it has something to do with the goal of her thermatological research. Whoever tried to find out what it is failed violently. Oh, I'm sure you're going to have fun, Miss Slawinski here just informed me Catherine Weiss is back in town. It is safe to assume she will join our festivities. Kidding me. Her negative reaction intrigues me, so I decide to give her another nudge. She told me to send her regards, and that she absolutely can't wait to catch up. Cheeky. The hint of torment on her face is less than I was counting on, but it will do. Vice, excellent. I'd love to catch up with her. The barely concerned venom in her voice clearly suggests the fact that in fact she'd hate to catch up with her. Yes, it looks like tomorrow night will be very special. But for now, I bid you adieu. And she's gone. Is there some kind of story between Aisling and Weiss that I should be aware of? That part about sending regards, that was a bold-faced lie, wasn't it? An innocent one. Overselling someone's courtesies is a good etiquette. Unbelievable. Well, I doubt High Regent Sturbridge took it as a courtesy, considering she once attempted to call for a blood hunt on Weiss. Wow, why? I've heard 5 different versions of the story, and all of them seem plausible. Catherine's relationship with the city is odd, to say the least, but hush for now. He's obviously trying to kill the conversation, and the appearance of Thomas Arturo gives him a perfect way out. Mr. Arturo? Al-Asmai. Keep up the good work, eh? Of course. Thomas Arturo, an architect by trade. He's a herald, a member of the Prince Padhard's inner circle, enigmatic, whose thoughts seem to be 10 times faster than his words. Good night, Mr. Arturo. Ah, yes, yes. He disappears into the night. Well, that was brief. Maybe I should stand in their way. That might force them to properly acknowledge my existence. You severely underestimate their dedication to ignoring whelps like you. And just in case you're serious, I beg you, don't. Been meaning to ask you this for a while now, but never had the opportunity. You really hit Arturo's guts, don't you? He carefully measures his diplomatic response. I have no strong feelings about Thomas Arturo whatsoever. Yeah, well, considering you're always listing positives about every local Camarilla representative under the moon, you might as well have called him a cunt. Language whelp. And as for Arturo, I will share my opinion about him as soon as I come up with one that sticks for more than a week. A group of kindred emerges from the art hole, rushing towards the street. Only a noble-looking woman stops next to us. She's wearing hijab, but curiously enough, doesn't hide her hair beneath it. Primogen. If you are rude enough to stare, you'd quickly notice the cloth serves mostly to cover up her horrifying scars. Oh, young Julia. I'm doing my best not to stare because Samira is one of the few NYC Camarilla figures who hasn't been an asshole to me. Yet. Still here. Did the prince require the clan of the Hunts counsel in some matter? Yes, I advised her that no matter how hard she tries, she shouldn't expect me to wear a different costume tomorrow night. He's the Banu Hakim Primogen. Just like the Lasambra, their clan is independent from the Camarilla until relatively recently. However, they negotiated a better deal than we did. They have a Primogen for one. Hailing from the Middle East, the Banu Hakim are drawn to the practice of justice. The rules must be upheld and every transgression punished. They don't have much say in NYC, but the prince often seeks their judgment. It's just good PR. I trust she was understanding. Those are beautiful clothes. Thank you so much. I am eager to see the outfit you came up with. And how are you, Julia? Have you seen any lights at the end of the tunnel? Same old, Samira. Still wandering in the dark, bumping my shin every 2 steps. Sorry to hear that. I trust you're pestering the prince and your superiors to improve your standing. It's a process. Oh, and Julia. Julia, you won't achieve anything if you keep reaching for it, Kadir. Weren't you supposed to teach her the ropes? I'm trying to, Primogen, but with this child, it's always a process. I can only wish you good luck then. Good night, Julia. Good night, Kadar. Good night. Have a safe trip. The art hole has to be almost empty by now. You like her, don't you? Stop with your class clown act, whelp. It only serves to reveal deep insecurities. Wow, that's harsh. It's factual, or as harsh as you claim. She did tell us both to keep her Samira, but you're still keeping your distance with that Primogen shit. Watch your profanity and don't project your fantasies onto me. I won't give you a lesson about professional boundaries, but I suspect the way you will eventually learn it will be extremely unpleasant. Why is he hot? Am I interrupting something good, folks? Even though I'm constantly pestering him, Kadar's composure is unshaken. His response comes swift and unfazed. Not at all, Mr. Vanderweeden. Heading back to your office? You know me, my dear sheriff. Where else would I go? Now that's curious. Even though Carter Vanderweiden is a promotion as well, Malkavian to be precise, I don't hear Kadar address him as such. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Oh, I will absolutely show up provided I can. But just in case, I really apologize for not making it to the prince. Simply drowning in work these days. The rhythms and tempo and intonation patterns of his voice are so familiar. Half of it sounds like JFK, the other half exactly like Barack Obama. Just like his appearance, it all feels so fake. He's old money, of course. Comes from a line of Dutch merchants who originally settled in the New York region, runs a wildly successful law office, rubs elbows with the least of both kindred and kind varieties alike. He seems perfect in every way, and that's why he's so unnerving. He's a child of Makav and must be blighted with some affliction, but whatever it is, he doesn't let it show. Try not to wonder what he's hiding. The celebrations are planned to last all week. Surely you will find the time. I pray I will, my good man. I pray I will. In case you need to reach me, you know where to find me. Have a good one. He doesn't even register my presence before leaving. Sometimes I think they're all still hoping I will simply go away. As Carter drives away in his limousine, Kadar shakes his head. You wanted to hear about which member of New York City's Camarilla I dislike the most? Yes? Shoots me a knowing glance and smirks. Too bad. They're all my dear colleagues, and I deeply respect every single one of them. Sure you do. Wouldn't want to blurt out something like that could lock you out of Mr. Vander Wyden's legal services, would you, you ass kisser? I do expect to find myself in need of a good defense attorney when my broke, incompetent, and foul-mouthed assistant finally pushes me over the edge. Rude. Do you still need me here? I still need to swing by St. Patrick's tonight. Don't worry, we're almost done. The prince is coming out. The captain is the last person to leave the ship, huh? And there she is. Helene Panhard, the big kahuna, as someone I once knew would call her. The de facto ruler of New York City, and a self-professed patron of the arts. She's so fucking cool. Kadir, a penny for your thoughts. You should be pleased to hear the High Regent is resigned to her fate. My prince, Mr. Van der Weyden, is decidedly not. I suspect he will be too busy to join the festivities all the week through. Excellent. She turns to me. Mr. Winsky, weren't you supposed to accompany our good sheriff in his duties tonight? There was an unexpected change of plans. Catherine Weiss is back in town. Catherine is here. Now that's a welcome surprise. But what does it have to do with you, Miss Sawinski? She said she didn't want to trouble you with all the paperwork regarding her arrival, Prince Panhard. It's all been taken care of. Kadar has already informed of everything. That's certainly a nice gesture, but wait a minute now. Where exactly did you meet her? In a fast food restaurant, my prince. I see. Helene rubs her eyes. Catherine and her love for proletarian amusement, I suppose, will be a source of amusing anecdotes this week. If we want to avoid these situations in the future, it might be a good time to discuss offering Miss Sawinski an office of her own. We'll get to that eventually. There are more pressing matters at hand. The festivities start tomorrow and there's still so much to be done. Will you make sure the art hole is secure before leaving? Certainly, my prince. Have a good night. Good night, Kadar. Good night, Miss Sawinski. We'll talk about your work soon, don't worry. Of course, good night, Prince Panhard. The chauffeur escorts her to the limo. There's an awkward silence between me and Kadar until the car disappears around the corner. More pressing matters, huh? A penny for your thoughts, Sheriff. I'm certain an image of the Keeper of Elysium stuck in a fast food restaurant will linger in Prince Panhard's mind. You're far closer to your goal than you were a few minutes ago. I'm pretty sure I've heard you say something to that effect a few times now. And I stand by my words. Rome wasn't built in a day, Julia. As a Camarilla loyalist, don't you think it sucks that the Ivory Tower is a hellbent on showing disrespect to my clan? They're actually willing to make fools of themselves in the process? We've all had to endure our own hazing rituals, but yes, the current situation is not ideal. Whatever, you need a hand closing up the Elysium? I'll manage, it's getting late. Better run. Some shadow in Chicago is probably impatient to get a copy of the reports you've given me. You've pleased one master, now it's time to please the other. Yeah, here's the thing about working for two masters. Neither one of them really thinks of you as their own. Not knowing how to reply, Kadar shrugs. I wave to him goodbye and head for the subway. When I reach St. Patrick's Cathedral, I'm greeted by a voice that grates on me like teeth on tinfoil. Well, 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 the prodigal daughter returns. Oh my god, no. This is the one thing I didn't want to happen. Julia, please, thou shalt not make the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Where's Father Leonard? His clergy duties kept him from getting here on time. He sent me to apologize in his name and keep your company for a few minutes. That's the second thing he ought to do to apologize for. He just wants his flock to live in unity. I am more than willing to oblige. Why won't you? The last time, I'm not a part of his flock. We have a purely professional arrangement. I know you see it that way. The Night Clan's tendency to stick closer to the Catholic Church is their greatest virtue, but they still consider this relationship purely instrumental. This is why we need kindred like you to bring the spiritual change to your clan, to make them understand God's precious gifts. The closer they get to the light, the greater the shadow become. Again with his insufferable sermonizing. Benoit Segal here is a knuckle nutjob and an ex-artist, a degenerate who had some sort of complete mental breakdown in the 90s. To recover, he took to religion for solace and guidance. At first, he proclaimed his readiness to devote the rest of his life to studying Naudism. After a few years, what the fuck's Naudism? I haven't heard of that. The religious beliefs and studies pertaining to the origins of kindred and the myth of Cain. Oh, Cain, the alleged OG vampire. Oh. The Toreadors are the most artistic of the kindred. The Toreador draws their ranks from the creative class, ranging from painters to digital content creators. The Clan of the Rose boasts many former famous actors, singers, writers, dancers, even lauded sex workers. The goal is, of course, only to fill the Toreador clan with the best of the best, but its shallow fixation on youth. Hello. Probably more wonder under the roof than they care to admit. Also, plenty of insufferable divas influencers. But I was one of them, but surprisingly, he doesn't show many of their regular traits. Maybe other than keeping him impeccably slick at all times. Oh. Yeah, the Malkavians are... They're psychopaths. They... Yeah. This is I don't think I saw this in the book though. The Banu Hakim. And I'm playing a Tremere, I think. Or I don't remember. Misremembers which one it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm a Tremere. Named after the 8th century Homeric mages whose followers for a brief period terrorized the world. The members of the clan Tremere today are the only able to practice their reality-bending thaumaturgic arts after consuming fresh blood. This is because the Tremere of old fucked up in the relentless pursuit of immortality and were condemned. They have recently fallen into a great schism of competing houses, all vying for the title of rightful heir to their namesake legacy. All about that rare ancient artifact life. Nicknames include warlocks, medics, or transgressors. Let me check. I'm going to check something very quickly. Oh, are we not loading today? Are I not going to load? Give me 1 second. Okay, cool. As luck would have it, his neophyte's zeal found a major target in me. When I first met him, I was stupid enough to tell him I was raised Catholic and still identified as such somewhat. He immediately pictures me as some sort of force for change within the Camarilla and set to put me back on the righteous path. Now he won't stop preaching to me apparently until I become a nun. Remember, the darkest place is directly beneath the candle. You turncoats have this unfortunate predisposition to find salvation within your grasp, and then lose your way in the shadows. Christ, once he starts, he just won't stop. I guess it's time to bring out the big guns. By the way, I was meaning to ask, got any news about Sophie Langley? A painful grimace crosses his face, but doesn't linger. Kind of rude to change the subject, you know. Rude, I'm just looking for a topic both sides of this conversation would care about. You know, like any guide on etiquette says you should. I'm a no Servasa, at least according to TikTok filter. Salvation is a topic close to anyone's heart, whether I admit it or not, and it's pretty bold of you to assume I still care about Langley. I do not assume, I'm certain you do. The second she retires from the public eye, you stop acting like Jesus era Kanye and start acting like Jesus King era Kanye. Oh my god. I've never had a Jesus era. Do people really call it that? Here's how it's going to work. Tell me what you know. I'll tell you what they say. And keep in mind, I didn't know she was your sire until a few nights ago. Hell, I haven't even met her. He winces a bit at me saying hell, but lets it go. Sure, I figure you would say have prodded that wound long ago if you knew. What do you care about anyway? Better let you drone on about your tormented past than let you carry on with your good mood missionary shtick. Professional curiosity, once a journalist, always a journalist. He scratches his head, then exhales in a sad mockery of a chuckle. Fine then, I'll do my best to make it short. Just like you said, Sophie Langley, every New York kindred's beloved socialite, was my sire. We first met sometime after World War II. I left France right before the Nazis went. Around the Maginot Line. Struggled to keep my siblings alive with my art. Watched my brothers die during the flu epidemic of '43. I was close to losing my mind. That's when she showed up. Said the sheer torment of my works caught her eye. She became my patron, allowed my talents to flourish, and supported me financially. Eventually, she embraced me. As a well-off kindred, my artistic interests started to naturally deviate from what they used to be back when I was a poor, mortal upstart. I began to see the world the way her social circle does. And that, she couldn't forgive. Instead of being fun novelty, I became just another part of the malaise surrounding her. She grew distant and then stopped seeing me altogether. I had my share of meltdowns because of this. I won't deny that. I locked myself out of many career opportunities, but it was an important lesson. Don't trust your elders. Vampirism affects them psychologically as well. If they take interest in you, they won't stop until they suck your soul dry and then discard you like a broken toy. For the first time since I've known him, Seagal registers to me something other than a Bible-thumping nuisance. Is it compassion I feel? Do I find him relatable? How dreadful. It's possible he's strategically trying to elicit sympathy. Maybe you heard about my dramatic exit from Lodestar. Or maybe he's just alluding to my sire left me here to fend for myself. There's only God who will ever lead you astray. This is why I find your act so frustrating, Julia. You're so close to getting it, but you choose sin instead. There's the big Benoit Seagal I know. Oh, he's supposed to be fucking French. What about Langley's disappearance from the city? I don't want to do a French accent right now. I'm not in the mood. Her path. I mean, technically, it would be like, her path is the road to perdition. Whenever she looked up, he ended up. I thought she's too happy about it. She had plans for the future of the city, wanted to make it her ultimate work. She was always the vain one. The vain one. I'm not doing that right now. Brain empty. But of course, you're completely sure you had nothing to do with her disappearance. Please, don't tell me you're getting at what I think you're getting at. Everybody says you've been enacting like you're trying to repent for something ever since your vanishing act. You've got a motive. Of course I'm getting at what you think I'm getting at. Benoit shakes his head. You really have the devil in you, your heart, Julia. Always testing me. Just asking what everyone's thinking. And are they now? Listen, I'm familiar with a lot of insults attached to my name in this city. Those aren't exactly compatible with the image of a ruthless killer. Killer, huh? Now that's interesting. I haven't said anything about killing. He scrubs his hand over his forehead and collects himself before responding. Stop picking apart every word I say in this complete, unpleasant way. Here's a statement if you really want to know Miss Hercule Poirot. I do believe Sophie, the way I knew her, has met her end. Even if she's still walking this earth, she wouldn't come back here as the same prideful aristocrat. You'd have to undergo a spiritual rebirth. Someone has reminded her of her place. Or former friends talked to her in hushed voices. Even that servant play toy of her went missing. No more Camarilla parties. She's done for. Whatever happened to her, I don't know. I swear on Jesus and his sandals, I had nothing to do with it. But yes, I'm still here, and she's not. And it's not a reason to gloat, but to be more humble. I received a sign from God, telling me to examine all the unfortunate ways I still resemble Sophie Langley. And I listened. I rejected the pride I shared with her. I renewed my vows to God and recommitted to preaching his greatness. I mean, this is why we're having this conversation in the first place. Right now, when I think of Langley's influence on my life, I am grateful because she was a sign that got me here. And if God wills it, maybe one day you'll look at her the same way, Julia. Mental note, whenever he circles back to his preachy tone, it's time to intervene. All right. Makes you feel better? I think that only way a wimp like you could have hurt her was by boring her to death with Bible quotes. Now then, quid pro quo, tit for tat. You were saying people still talk about me. I was curious if... Oh, look who's finally here. Stalling for time worked. Father Leonard rushes in our direction, carrying a folder of documents under his arm. I assume it's the one I came for. Father Leonard. Christ be praised, Julia. Yesterday I was told this is how priests greet their parishioners in Eastern Europe. Forever and ever, amen. Actually, I think we said each other's lines. Never mind. Another long night, wasn't it? Taking a toll on you? Ah, no need to worry. These days I sleep a few hours a day. Short naps take care of the rest. And there's always work to be done. I apologize for being late. At least I managed to get here before you and Benoit went for each other's throats. Good, I was getting worried. Oh, who do you take me for, Father? He takes you for a total bozo who's about as effective at converting people as a documentary about pedophilia in the Catholic Church. He's just too kind to say it out loud. Dear God. Ouch. You're gonna have to deal with, Father, but don't worry, we'll make a saint of her yet. Forget saint for now. I'd settle for an adult in the room. Passive aggressive much? Excuse me? Asking for an adult in the room is not solving a problem. It's abdicating responsibility. Julia, you know exactly what I mean, so please don't get smart with me. Then don't sound like my mother, maybe. An adult in the room, Julia. All I'm asking for, here. He gives me a folder he was carrying with him and passed him the reports I wrote earlier tonight. Among kindred, it is common knowledge that the Catholic Church is one of the Lasombra's greatest assets. Hell, it might even be one of the main reasons the Commonwealth is slowly warming up to the clan. We are technologically impaired and as such, woefully unprepared to face the challenge of communicating in the 21st century. Hard to handle advanced encryption when you can't even unlock a smartphone. This is where the Vatican connections enter the picture. A web of priests scattered all around the web exchange our dispatches between each other, making sure they all reach their destinations in total secrecy. I was told not everyone in the Holy See is friendly to our kind, but the most shrewd and talented usually are. You could say they're like a mortal camarilla, better than any intelligence agency. Remember what happened to John Paul I when he attempted to uncover the workings of the Institute for the Works of Religion? Death after 33 of papacy, rumors of CIA and Masonic involvement. Not that Father Leonard has anything to do with any of this. For a Catholic priest, he's all right. He'd probably have me stay a believer if years longer than I did, had I known him as a teenager. Leonard is intelligent, kind, helpful towards others. Helpful towards his parishioners, treats his superiors with a healthy dose of skepticism, and is not involved in any sort of political church games. Well, at least not beyond helping me contact my bosses in Chicago every other night or so. He knows about the kindred, and he knows about the Second Inquisition. He opted to avoid the latter in order to keep the former from oppression, because according to him, it's the right thing to do. I know there's got to be something wrong with him, some selfish motivation maybe, and I haven't nailed it down yet, but it seems like he's making an effort to hide it, so I'm giving him a pass. By the way, I hope you don't mind. I finally took the liberty of asking how your parents are doing. Thank you, Father, but you shouldn't have. Not a problem. A priest at St. Stanislaus? Oska is a good friend. He says your parents started showing up every Sunday again. Front row, your father is looking better and better. makes me feel nothing, but I still give him a token nod and grateful smile. Thank you, Father Leonard. Now, if you'll excuse me, the sunrise is almost here. Yes, be careful, and God bless you. Amen. Goodbye, Julia. I'll let you have the hook this time, but next time, you won't be so lucky, all right? Sure, just one more thing on my never-ending list of events I'm not looking forward to. Guess it's time to call it a night. I'm home. Finally, you doing all right? Fine, I guess. Why weren't you asleep? I figured it's finally time for me to become more of a night owl. You've talked about making our schedules sync better. Watch your vitamin D. I'd kill to have your skin. Would be a shame to waste it. Shouldn't have smoked so much before you got bitten, sweetheart. Should have shared your skincare routine with me back when I was still breathing. I can't just be going around sharing my one secret weapon. It's a top secret stuff. MK Ultra level, Jeffrey Epstein current whereabouts level. I'd have to kill you if I told you. Just go ahead and off me anyway. It'd be a mercy kill, honestly. Don't talk like that. Anything you want to share? Never mind. I feel a little more self-conscious than usual tonight. Don't. You want me to do your makeup before you go to sleep? No need. No need. Weren't you supposed to have some sort of big party tomorrow night? I was involved in the backstage stuff. What makes you think I was invited? Because you're the coolest, cutest, and most all-around amazing person I know. It'd be insane not to put you on this short list. Believe it or not, but most vampires are pretty insane. Interdimensional psychic vampire level insane? Because that's how crazy they'd have to be to ignore you like this. Yeah, I would say so. Fuck them then, a big bunch of posh dicks. They hate you because they ain't you, but they'll see. Jesus, how do you do it? Do what? You always assault me with so much of this weird, stupid positivity that I can't react to without completely shifting my mental attitude. How do you do it? Oh, the answer is easy. Remember how I told you we have this spiritual connection? I can sense what you feel and want. You can sense what I feel too, if you really focus. Yeah, I think I call it a big load of bullshit. That a girl who talks to ghosts, but watch this, Agent Scully. I sent you feeling down and I realized what you really need to end this night. She points to one of her drawers. It's the one where she keeps her supply of ketamine. Come on. What? No, wrong drawer. We're not meeting demons. We're meeting angels. MDMA? Ding, ding, ding. Took half an hour ago. Perfect timing thanks to our spiritual connection. Ready to fly away? The mood isn't right. I need music. Got a special SoundCloud playlist ready to go, prepared specifically to uplift one Julius Lewinsky. Just give me a signal and I'll press play. Jesus, you're impossible. That's why you love me, I hope. I give up. Come here, let me have a taste of you. Maybe this one time the high won't end. Oh, so there's no choices. There's only rest. There's only rest. I leave Dakota's apartment as soon as the sun goes down. Yesterday was fun, but it always feels a little nervous when I spend too much time with her. She never lets me escape from being the center of attention. It's exhausting. At least the less time I spend with her, the happier she is to see me again. It's a tricky act to balance, though. I'm grateful for her presence in my life, but never mind. What's on my list of chores tonight? Ah, yes, only one thing. Don't show up for the party at the art hall. Well, this is the rare night when I don't have anything to do. Might as well take a trip around the city and see what's up. Maybe fix myself a little drink while I'm at it. Okay. We have going to the park. Interesting. What was I thinking? I mean, even the most hopeless introverts yearn for company every now and then, be it the company of someone they know or a total stranger reveling themselves to be as the soulmate they've always sought. Even for someone as neurotic as me, there's something enthralling in the idea of briefly trading your individualism for a place in the crowd. You just wander around and stare like a peeping Tom hidden in plain sight. If there's anything missing from the shell of my previous social life, it's that intangible sensation being a part of a living mass. But really, Coney Island of all places, what was I thinking? Surely it's my Surely it's my I'd finally revealing what I've been missing along all my six soul really wanted was to nibble on William's caramel apple while taking on an overpriced Wonder Wheel ride. Well, I'm here. Might as well try at least one of those tourist traps. Thunderbolt. Of all the nearby roller coasters, this one seems to be attract the least attention. Perfect. I take a seat in the most weathered cart, buckle up and prepare to be forced some enjoyment out of myself. After a few minutes ride, I realized why everyone gives this place a wide berth. To say it was underwhelming would be an undeserved compliment. Not that I expected anything else, but still, I'm not sure what I was hoping for. Amidst the clouds of cigarette smoke, I notice an old woman perched silently by the wall. She looks like one giant wrinkle, but her gaze is lively and pierces right through me. I pulled a crumbled package out of my back pocket, my last smoke. As I raise the lighter, some pompous dick preoccupied with his visible bored girlfriend shoves cigarettes out of my hand. Somehow, it's his half-assed apology that pisses me off the most. The urge to drink him dry is strong, but I let it pass. I look beneath my feet. I can hear the old crone cackling as my cigarette sinks into the only puddle in the vicinity. Fuck. I turn towards the exit and notice some brawny dude closing in on me. The way he's dressed has the same uncanny aura as Steve Buscemi walking through a high school corridor in a skater outfit, except that Steve Buscemi is 1,000 times cooler than this guy. He gets into my face and hands me a cigarette, pulling me up a rather annoying smirk. Having a bad night, sweetheart? It was fine until you came along. He completely disregards my reluctance and starts waving his hands erratically like a second-hand mime. That's a shame. But hey, you seem like a girl who likes to have fun. I know these things. I have something here just for you. Want to check it out? Throughout this bizarre peacock dance, his colorful wristband pops up from behind his sleeve. Shit, man, how clueless can you be? Is this a hidden camera show? Or maybe you're just some newbie being hazed by the rest of your undercover unit? He really thinks I'll take the bait. Unbelievable. Okay, smartass, you're on. Well, what do you say? Keep talking. Why don't you follow me to my stash? I've got dope. In the middle of Coney Island? Wow, just wow. Let me stop you right there, Tony Montana. Less than 10 seconds and you rush straight to the finish line? Also dope? You poor soul, you're out of depth. Who put you up to this? I seem to have struck a nerve, and he doesn't know how to handle it. Come on, big guy, just give me a reason. Well, fuck you too, bitch. Now that's just rude, and begs for a reaction. Uh-oh. He might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's probably not alone. I'm sure I could take him and his big friends, but I don't feel like getting tased in the face tonight. Would a taser even work on me? This might not be the right time to find out. Right now, it's time to leave this shit show behind. Goodbye, officer. Gets enough human interaction for one night. Once more to the Big Beat Burger and to the last fast food joint I'll ever know. I'll have the usual. The first time I used this line, I wasn't sure it would work, but I've gained enough notoriety among the staff that it does. The cashier just smiles, nods, and charges me for one black coffee. I can imagine them instructing the newbies, see that emo weirdo? Here's how it is. She always orders a single cup of coffee. Nothing else, and she doesn't even drink it. Probably wouldn't take a single sip even if I was still alive. This stuff is just trash, but at least being a buying customer gives me an excuse to sit here as long as I want to. I wish I could just I wish I could use one of those self-ordered chaos to minimize human contact, but touchscreens don't exactly like me. Not too long ago, I managed to blue screen 10 of them in a row. Well, the good news is it doesn't look like I have anything to do tonight. The bad news is it's because every kindred who matters is having a fun at the art hole right now. It's not like I wanted to go. I just wanted them to invite me so that I could tell them to fuck off. I scan the entrance to the restaurant through my peripheral vision, and I am naively hoping someone will come and save me from my misery. Yes, I am. Please, please, please let somebody come and get me out of here. A prince, a princess, a knight in shining armor, a fairy godmother, a passing huntsman, Big Bad Wolf, Mila Jovovich, Vin Diesel, Azealia Banks. Hell, I'll take anyone at this point. Visualizing, tapping into the power of my subconscious, materializing my dreams. Nope, doesn't work. Looks like you're eternally stuck being at nobody in the corner of a shitty restaurant. Sweet little Julia. And life's a bitch and then you don't even die. I pretend to read a book about psychoanalysis I stole from Dakota for a while. Having found it mentally taxing, I switched to pretending to read a Stephen King book, which I also stole from Dakota. After the terrifying realization that it was written in the last 15 years and therefore contains no amusing drugged out rants about troubled childhood in Maine, I switched back to looking at the entrance. That's so specific. That's so specific. Like something. Cool. Did I spell it right? Yeah. We're gonna go raid AO Hell. My voice is already fucking tired and I still have to talk more today. So this'll be fun. Let's fucking go.